please say hello to Brandon Olson. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Good to be here. The last slide, my email address was wrong, so it's AWeber.com, not CO. So in case you're emailing me, make sure you use the right email address. Otherwise, it's not my fault that I'm not responding. All right. While Don gets that up, I'll just real quick introduction to myself. My name is Brandon Olson. I'm the Marketing Communications Manager here at AWeber. Been here for 3.5 years in various roles. I've been doing my current role for about the last 6 months, but joined AWeber as a social media manager, and then moved into the content marketing role, and now I'm focused more on the PR and the social media side of the business. Work with a great team here, 120 individuals strong, and really enjoy connecting with business owners. Was it Shelly? I always love meeting longtime AWeber customers, so it's great. I'll have to chat with you afterwards. So before I jump into the presentation real quick, I always find these interactions, your networking opportunities really interesting, and I like to observe kind of what's going on. And more than likely, most of you had a chance to meet somebody else prior to starting the presentation here. And I'm sure that conversation went something along the lines of, "Hey, my name's Brandon. This is what I do. This is this is where you go to learn more." And then you ask the question, well, "What do you do?" And so the next person kind of shares that same information. I find that really interesting because it applies to kind of what I'm going to talk about today with email automation and building an engaged audience using email automation. So what I'm going to cover today for you is my 4-step blueprint on how to build that engaged audience using email automation. So first off, the first step to doing that is defining your hook, what you're offering. And you're probably wondering, I know what I offer. I know I offer product X, or I offer service Y, and that's important to know. When it comes to email marketing, email automation, yes, you have those services, but you have to remember that not everyone's ready to buy right when you first interact with them. They need some encouragement, they need some additional information, some more added value. So I want you to ask yourselves this question: who's my audience, and who can I help? What are their needs? What are their struggles? And how can I help them best? What value can I provide them? And what makes me and what I offer unique or meaningful for them? How is it going to benefit them in their business? Ask yourself what you're an expert in, and I'm sure each of you are an expert in something. We all have an expertise, and we apply that to our products and our services. But in order to build an audience, in order to get into the inbox of individuals and to start building that relationship, you need to think earlier on beyond the product or the service that you're offering. Start to think about your expertise and how you can solve their problems, how you can answer their questions. That lends itself into an offer or that incentive. People, like I said before, aren't ready to buy right away. Not all the time. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're on the hunt for a product or a service, and they just need more information. But a lot of times you're interacting with someone who doesn't know that they need that yet, or hasn't discovered that pain point in their business or in their life. So they're not always ready, and that's one of the reasons why you need to offer an incentive and offer value to them so that they will provide that email address for their information to you, so you can nurture them, so you can start to educate them and answer those questions that they might have. Also, people are protective of the inbox. They're not going to let just anybody into their inbox, and so you need to provide a reason for them to share that information with you, so that they are willing to exchange that information. It's sort of like that digital currency. And then also incentives help you stand out. You're probably competing with other similar businesses in the market in your local geographic areas as well. And not everybody's offering, they may be offering similar incentives, similar products, but they may not be offering an incentive to attract someone into your email audience, into your email list. And there's lots of different types of incentives that you can offer. One of the things that we love doing here at AWeber, we focus a lot on education and helping our customers solve the problems that they have, solve the questions that they have. So we focus a lot on education. That's one of the best incentives that you can offer. You know, think about your expertise and what you're really good at. You can provide incentives in the form of checklists and plans and templates, ebooks, white papers, those types of things that solve those problems or answer those questions that they have. And there's some of the easiest things that you can do because you already have that expertise, that knowledge, and you can just put it into a format that's easily digestible for somebody. Other types of incentives are opportunities to learn about new products or services first, coupons, discounts, offers, that nature. And then, you know, if you can also run memberships, you know, building a membership. I think Don's done a great job of kind of building a great meetup membership here as well. So those are all great ways to kind of attract people and incentivize them to, excuse me, to provide that information to you. Excuse me. What's that?
I'm going to ask you to help here. I'm going to put the mic in the stand because you keep moving it and we can't. Stand in front of the mic.
I'll stay glued right here. All right. No more swaying. All right. So an incentive needs to be appealing. If you look at this as an example of what you might find on a website, you know, a sign-up form. Sign up for our newsletter for important updates. Not very specific. Doesn't really tell me what I'm going to be getting other than a newsletter. What's in that newsletter, I don't know. So not really compelling. But when you think about your expertise and how you might provide more value and solve problems or questions that people have, something like this would be more appealing. You know, a 7-day small business marketing crash course. You know exactly what you're getting. You know exactly what it's going to help you to do. It's going to help you become a better small business marketer. And it's going to be more enticing for someone to sign up. So that first step is really all about defining what your hook is, what your offer is in attracting an audience of subscribers. Your next step is a sign-up form. I just showed you a couple of examples there. But this is key because without a sign-up form, you're not going to be able to capture and collect that information. If you're not familiar with what a sign-up form is, really quick definition here. It's an online form that's designed to collect, number one, the most important thing, the email address, but also any other pertinent information about that individual. It could be a first name, a full name, be kind of what types of industries they might be in. But that's kind of what you're doing with the sign-up form, and that's one of the the next important step there. There's all sorts of types of sign-up forms. You probably have some on your website right now, but that live right on the sidebar or in line. You have different pop-ups. You can have a dedicated landing page. That's all. The only purpose there is for it to capture email addresses, not to educate them on anything else. And there's also ways to integrate with the tools that you're already using in your business. And you may be using PayPal or Facebook or other types of tools or softwares and services that can integrate with your email marketing provider and pass that information through to your email list. And then we offer hosted sign-up forms. So in place of a website, you can have a hosted sign-up form that you direct people to sign up for your email list. So a few tips on creating an effective sign-up form. Number one, use clear and concise language. Make it clear what they're going to be signing up for. Tell them exactly what value you're going to be providing to them and why they should sign up. It's a good practice to keep your entry fields, what information you're asking, to a minimum. There's studies that show that the more fields or more things you ask of a person, the less likely they are to convert into a subscriber. So 1 to 3 fields at a max is a good target to shoot for. And then your call to action should convey kind of what they're going to be receiving. So for example, if you're offering a free checklist, that call to action, rather than saying submit or sign up, could be give me my free checklist, or something that's more actionable, that's really descriptive of what exactly they're going to be getting. I jumped ahead here. Here's an example of a good example of a sign up form that does all those points that I just mentioned. It's explaining exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get 20 free videos on bushcraft, on survival, wilderness survival. This is one of our customers that's out in the UK that has this on his website. Really compelling. And that call to action, I love that call to action. Send me my videos. It's really, you know exactly what you're getting when you click that button. Third step, once you've got your subscribers into your email list, is all about nurturing. Like I said before, people aren't always ready to buy right away. They want more information. They want to be educated prior to making that purchase. I'm sure most of us kind of fit that description when we're trying to make a purchase of something. We do our research and our investigation before we make that decision. So nurturing them is really key. And this is one of the great benefits and value of email automation, is the ability to nurture somebody over the course of a time until they make that decision to purchase. So real quick definition of what email automation is. It's a series of emails that you send automatically based on a specific criteria that someone falls into. And you can set them at specific times as well. So why is it so important to use email automation in your business? Well, number one, you're all really busy, I'm sure, and you have other things to worry about than try and send out email newsletters or email marketing to your audience. So number one, email automation runs in the background. You set it up once, and it's kind of going while you're focused on other things of your business. So it saves you time from having to sit down and craft emails over and over and over again. And because of that, it drives more action. Because it's working for you, sort of a personal assistant, let's say, it's driving action while you're focused on other parts of your business or other parts of growing your business. And because of that, it lets you get the right message to the right person at the right time. So if someone's at a certain point in their buyer journey, you're able to deliver the right email to them at the right time using email automation. And lastly, it helps you work smarter. You're able to focus on other things. That's a smart thing for sure, because now you can focus on other parts of your business, improving operations, efficiency, rather than trying to grow your audience, because those things are working for you on the back end. So like I said, it's a series of emails. So this is what it might look like. You've got a series of emails that kind of go at specified times with different wait periods. It's kind of hard to read that screen there, but hopefully when you get the recording of this, you can take a little closer look. But you can send emails, put wait periods in there. You can do a lot of really, really advanced stuff as well with email automation. So as you're kind of nurturing somebody, rather than that first email being, hey, buy this product or sign up for this service, you're able to provide them some education. You're able to answer questions that you commonly get in your business. Like if you think about what questions you commonly get from your clients, you can start putting those into a series of emails that you send when they first sign up, so that that you're educating them and answering those questions. And then later on in that series, you're able to make that sale. Make that offer to sign up or buy a product or sign up for a service. The last step is, so I've kind of talked about sort of a basic automation capability, the ability to send out a series of emails, providing more education, more information. But what the really cool thing about email automation is you can get more advanced in that using automations, tags, and segments. So real quickly, anybody raise a hands know what segmentation is? Ever heard of that before? Okay, about half. So segmentation is a way to kind of group your subscribers together into, based around specific criteria or specific actions. A few examples of how to do that is you can create segments based on, different levels, skill levels, beginner, advanced, intermediate, if that's the type of services that you offer. You can group them around different products. Maybe you offer men's products and women's products. You can group them around the types of individuals they are. Are they a customer? Are they a lead? Are they a prospect? You can start to group them and target more specific information, specific content through email to them. And you can kind of group them topically too. If you offer a variety of services, or if you're an expert in a variety of things, you can start to group them based on topics and craft those automated emails to kind of address those interests or those different segments. And the great thing is it's all done automatically. You don't have to go in and kind of segment individuals manually, but you can allow the software to do that for you, to tag and sort and send the targeted emails to them. So a tag is used, it's basically a word or phrase that is used to kind of group or segment your subscribers and trigger automated emails. And an automation it allows you to add or remove tags based entirely on whether the actions that they're taking, whether they're clicking on a link in the email, whether they're opening an email, whether they're visiting a web page on your, a subscriber visits a specific page on your site. You can tag individuals. You can also remove tags based on those actions. So it's a way for you to kind of move people in different directions and apply different behaviors or different tags based on their behaviors. So I like to think of it this way. An automation really comes down to this. If my subscriber does this, do this. If they click on this link, do this. If they visit this web page, do this. And why is this valuable? Because it allows you to create segments based on that behavior. Remember, it's all about saving you time. So if you're able to kind of nurture people based on their actions that they're taking within your emails and also on your website, you're able to really provide more targeted and really amazing experiences for them without even touching, lifting your finger. You do it once and it's running for you. It allows you to provide the right content to people and make sure it's relevant to them based on their behaviors and the things that they're doing or telling you. And it really allows you to create a more advanced interaction, a more intimate and personal interaction with your prospects and with your customers. So I'm going to take you through 4 use cases of how you might use tags and automations to build these segments and to make these experiences with your subscribers that much more personal and relevant. So first use case is sending different automated emails based on their skill level. Would that apply to anybody in the room? Raise your hand if you have different clients or things that have different skill levels that might be pertinent. Okay, great. So hopefully this will be beneficial for you. So the way you do this, there's a couple different ways. I'll cover the first way of doing this first. So let's say someone signs up for your incentive through your sign-up form, and the first email they get, going back to that example with the 7-day small business crash course, marketing crash course, first email they get is, "Welcome to the crash course. Tell us a little bit more about yourself." Now I'm going to go back to my little story I did at the beginning when we were interacting with each other and sharing information. So all this time, getting information from people, it's allowed you to tell them more about you. You send them a series of information in emails. It educates them on who you are, what you do, what you offer, the problems that you can solve, but you're not really asking them yet about them. So what this allows you to do is it allows you to learn about your subscribers. It allows you to get a better understanding, a better picture of who they are, what they prefer, the types of actions that they're taking. So this first email could be, "Hey, thanks for joining the boot camp or the crash course," whatever it may be. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Are you a beginner, or have you been doing marketing for a while and kind of know your way around? So by clicking on one of those two, it's going to tell you, the marketer, where they are, and it allows you to provide more tailored content to them. So you may have a beginner service or product, and you may have an advanced product. And so by knowing where they are, you're able to provide the right product to them. This is how it looks on the back end. So when someone clicks that first link, a beginner, you tag them with the tag beginner. Someone clicks the advanced link, you tag them with the tag advanced. You can also do this at the point of sign up. Rather than that first email doing it, you can do this on the sign up form itself by providing some options there when they sign up. What this looks like on the back end is this. So you can apply tags based on those radio buttons that are clicked. When they do that, when they either click on a link in that first email or when they tell you at the point of sign up whether they're a beginner or advanced, you're able to fire off an automated email series that's tailored to kind of where they are and the types of content that they might be interested in. Okay, use case number 2, similar to the last one, but this is about sending different content, different emails based on your subscribers' interests. Anybody have, would this apply to anybody in the room? Okay, cool. So it's very similar to the previous one. Someone clicks on a link, you would apply that tag and you would get a better understanding of the types of content, the topics that they might be interested. This is an example of an email that we send, one of the first emails we send when someone subscribes to our blog. We say, hey, welcome, thanks for subscribing to the blog. Tell us a little about yourself. What are you interested in learning about? Because we cover a lot of topics on our blog. So we've kind of listed kind of our main topics we cover. And by clicking on these, our subscribers are able to tell us kind of what they're interested in, so that when we're sending out either a one-time email or we fire up a new automated series, we can target the right people with that and not try and kind of hit everybody. All right, third use case I wanted to cover real quick is sending contextual welcome emails based on the incentives that they're signing up for, or the sign-up forms that they're offered. So let's say, for example, you're running the crash course that I mentioned before, but you also have 5 tried and true email copy templates that you offer. These are 2 different incentives, very different topics too, but you're able to apply tags and provide an automated series based on kind of what they're signing up for. Here's how it looks on the back end. When someone signs up for each of these sign-up forms, you tag them appropriately. So with the 5 email templates, you would apply the 5 email templates tag, and same thing with the 7-day crash course tag. And what happens is, based on those tags, you can start an email series, basically targeting them on what they're interested in. All right, last use case I want to cover real quickly is the ability to trigger an automated email or a series of emails based on a click, a link that someone clicks in your email. I covered this in the first and second, but the reason I wanted to break this out into a 4th use case is because previously I covered kind of the beginner, the advanced, the interest. But what's really cool too is you can use this to kind of move someone through the buyer journey. So let's say someone signs up for your crash course, and they're going through there, and somewhere in that email series, you have a link in an email that talks about your products. If they click that product link, you can tag them. You can tag them with the word prospect, meaning they're expressed interest, because now they're kind of looking at your products and product information, and you can remove them from that campaign and put them into a new campaign that dives deeper into what you offer, providing case studies, providing testimonials, providing more information about your products and services. So it's a way to kind of move people from a lead, someone who signs up for a free incentive, to a prospect, and then hopefully into a customer, because, and again, you're doing this all without manually doing this. This is all happening on the back end because you set it up the right way, and people are able to kind of move through the process, move through the journey in an automated way, allowing you to focus on other things in your business. So all these things can be done within AWeber from a single list. You have a question? Okay.
Are you able to sit there and move them in? Are you able to move them into a different marketing email campaign while they're still in one? In other words, can they run 2 simultaneously?
Yeah, absolutely. So the question was, do you have to remove them from a campaign, or can you run them simultaneously? And you absolutely can. So this example I gave right here, where you would apply a tag and remove them from a campaign, you can also just apply a tag and not fire off a new campaign. So it allows you to tag people automatically. What you do with that tag is totally up to you. If you want to remove them from that campaign and start them on a new one, you can do that. Or if you just want to save that tag information for a future one-time broadcast, let's say you're running an event next year and you want to know, okay, I want to send this broadcast, this one email to this audience of prospects, or these individuals who have been tagged as beginners because it's more of a beginner event. You can do that. But there's a lot of flexibility in what you can do with the tagging and automations. You can automate a lot of it. You can also kind of start to build up this data about your subscribers so that you can be more targeted with your future emails. So good question. So one of the things that I wanted to stress here is that you can do all this within AWeber from a single list. For many years we were very list based. You had a single autoresponder series per list. Now with the technologies we've been working on for the last few years, you can have multiple automated campaigns running from a single list, allowing you to to get a really clear picture of who your subscribers are and kind of what their interests are, where they are in their buyer journey, and allows you to target them more closely. So where do we fit in all this? So AWeber, a little bit about AWeber. We've been around for 20 years, not a little longer than Shelley was, a customer of ours. We're one of the leading email marketing service providers in the world, with 100,000 customers worldwide. Our founder, Tom Polzer, who still leads the company, he invented the autoresponder 20 years ago. There's a really great story. When he was working as a modem salesperson, and he needed a way to automate the follow-ups with his clients, with his potential clients. And so he programmed this software to basically send out automated emails to follow up with clients after he called upon them. And then, other sales guys he was working with wanted that same software, and, he ended up quitting and go back to college. They wanted that software. So he thought, hang on, this might be a business here. So that's how AWeber was born. And he grew it, organically for 20 years now. And we're a team of 120. I love the team that I work with. They're a super passionate group of individuals, and the sole purpose for coming to work every day is to help business owners like you be successful with email marketing and email automation. Some of what we offer, obviously, these are pretty familiar: newsletters, automation, sign-up forms, integrations. But the thing I love most, the thing I stress mostly with AWeber is that it's the people here that are really kind of the differentiator in our market. We have an award-winning team of customer support individuals who go above and beyond to help business owners and entrepreneurs, succeed with email marketing. And we hear it from our customers. They talk about the power of AWeber is our simplicity and ease of use, and that without us, they wouldn't see that success. This is a local customer, Brian Edmondson, who's been with us for over 10 years now, and we have a lot of customers who have really built their business, and AWeber has kind of been a really key part of that. So, I think that's about it. But if any questions, I'm happy to take them now, or if you want me to save them till later, Don. Either way.
Well, okay, so I think a few people have asked questions on Slido, so let me bring that up and see what there is, and if not, maybe they've got some questions from the audience. So actually, while I'm pulling up Slido, are there any questions from the audience? Don't be shy. Okay, please come to the microphone and ask your question.
Use Constant Contact at work. Would this integrate with Constant Contact, or would this replace it?
It would replace it.
Okay.
Yeah. You could integrate it, but I'm not really sure why you would, because they're basically competing products.
Okay.
One difference with AWeber and Constant Contact is that the Constant Contact doesn't provide as much automation capabilities as AWeber does. It also doesn't have the type of support that you get with AWeber. I think with Constant Contact, you have a very simple autoresponder that goes out within your account. But with AWeber, you can have multiple autoresponders going at once, and you can tag and segment individuals automatically and provide that content to them.
And what the client wants, right?
Yeah, actually, cost-wise, we're more affordable than Constant Contact. I think they have a $24, I can't remember exactly, $24 tier, which is sort of the basic tier. But if you wanted to do the same things you could do in AWeber, it'd be $45 to start. We start at $19 a month, up to 500 subscribers. No problem.
Okay, we have a couple questions on Slido. I'll just read them to you. You have to set up emails ahead and schedule them to be automatically sent. Is that right?
That is correct. You can. Now, that's one of the great things about email marketing is there's lots of ways to kind of skin it. You can have an automated series of emails set up from the point of when they sign up, or you can just have people sign up and start collecting those for one-off emails. And we have a lot of customers that do that too. They sign up for a newsletter, and then they send out their weekly or their bi-weekly or monthly newsletter. But we also have a lot of customers who build these really elaborate autoresponder sequences or series of emails, and that's really all they do. They just let it kind of run and generate revenue and sales for their business. They set it up once and don't touch it again. In fact, we have customers who have email sequences or email series of 100 plus emails. So I don't know if I'd recommend doing that, but there's certainly, there's no limit to kind of what you can do with email marketing and automation.
Okay. So Diana, where are you, Diana? Raise your hand. Okay. So Diana writes, do you find it harder to get eyeballs on emails these days? Is that correct, Diana? Anything you want to add to that?
Well, I type that in.
Okay.
I know it's
Would you mind coming to the mic?
pretty loud.
No, we need to record you. We know you're pretty loud.
I hate emails, and everybody that I know hates emails, and the bulk of the emails that I receive go right to trash, and even the ones that I want to see often get filtered by spam filters and whatnot. So I'm wondering at the efficacy of this kind of program. And do you find it hard nowadays?
That's a great question. So what I would say to that is, we're not finding it harder to get eyeballs on emails these days. If anything, the usage of email is growing. What you described there about getting tons of emails that you really sounds like you don't really want, that's sort of what we're trying to fight against. We're trying to teach and educate customers and businesses to use email marketing effectively, meaning when it's really focused on being a permission-based marketing. So you want people to subscribe because they have an interest in learning more from you. You're an expert, you have something to offer. If they start losing interest in that, there's an easy way of cleaning that list up. And really, we have a lot of customers who have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers, but their open rates are in the single digits. Whereas we have people who have subscriber lists of 100, 200, 500 that have open rates of 50+%. So it's really about how are you engaging with your audience. If you're not finding the engagement, you need to kind of revisit kind of what you're offering them and try and re-engage them. We're big proponents of cleaning up your email list on a regular basis because that helps with your deliverability. It helps you stay out of the spam folder and the promotional tabs and such. So cleaning up that email list once in a while, removing people who aren't opening your emails or aren't engaging with you anymore is a good way to kind of keep your deliverability up. But also taking a fresh look at kind of what you're providing your subscribers. If they're not engaging, ask them why. Send an email with a survey. You can even use the click tag automation to provide them with some quick answers. What do you think of my emails? And provide them some links in there. Get a better sense of kind of what what you could do better, how you can better engage them. So I definitely don't think there's a decrease in the amount of engagement. I think if anything, we're seeing it go up. But you have to look at it individually too to figure out how can I get my subscribers more engaged. Asking them feedback, engaging in conversations with them. It's a good way of doing that.
So I have an extension to that question. It's one thing if somebody takes action on an email, then you know how to tag that email with whatever the action is. Suppose the email is delivered but not clicked on, not opened. Can you tag the email with that information so that you know to go back and send another email to that person who did not open up the last email?
So if they clicked it, they would have opened it too. But I think I know what you're saying. Someone doesn't open your email, is there a way to kind of follow up on that?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a way of doing that. So within AWeber, if you've got your series of emails and you've got a tag automation applied somewhere in that sequence that says when they click this link or when they open this email, move them out of the sequence into another sequence. If they don't, they just continue on in that sequence. So you've got your series of emails, at some point, if they engage with that series, whether it's by opening the email or by clicking a link within an email, you can tag them and remove them from that campaign and provide them with a different campaign that continues to educate and go deeper into what you might offer and what you might do.
And actually, there was you kind of answered my next question. If somebody says, I don't want to receive any more emails about this particular campaign, but about future campaigns, I do want to receive them, can that be structured? Can tags be structured to handle that? I don't want to receive anything more about this campaign, but please keep me on the list for future campaigns.
Yeah, so if someone doesn't want to receive emails, what they'll most likely do is unsubscribe from your email list. So that's definitely something that happens automatically within the emails. Like there's always a unsubscribe link in your email. But what you're describing is, checking in periodically with your subscribers and say, is this valuable for you? Do you want to continue receiving emails? You can do that within the email itself by asking that question and tell us yes or no. Or do you want to continue receiving these emails? They can click that, you can tag them, and you can remove them from that campaign. But you still have them as a subscriber rather than someone who's unsubscribed. So that's definitely doable with the click automation.
Okay. The next question we have on the screen is, a marketer, as a marketer with multiple clients, can I use AWeber to satisfy multiple clients and their lists? So what I'm not sure about, Anonymous wrote that out. Who Anonymous in the room?
Maybe they want
Who wrote that question? Because I think what they're asking, well, what I can't tell from the question is are you trying to build one master list and then segment the list by client, or physically separate lists, one for each client? Can somebody clarify that to ask the question?
I think that's pretty accurate. So yes, what I describe to customers when they ask me that question is that I look at lists as sort of separate entities or domains. So let's say you run two businesses and they have very different audiences. Let's say you run a pet supply business and a business coaching business. Two very different audiences, two very different businesses. In AWeber, you would create those as separate lists. And you can have as many lists in AWeber as you want within one account. And then within each list, you can have as many series of emails as you want as well. So treat different lists as different entities. So if you work with clients that have, let's say you work with 10 clients, you can handle all those within one account, having 10 different lists for each of those businesses because they're separate audiences. You wouldn't want to mix them. So definitely doable within AWeber. You can have as many lists as you want, and treat those lists as sort of the individual businesses or clients that you're working with.
Okay, we have two more questions and then we'll move on to the next speaker. So I don't know if you want to answer this question or wait for the next speaker, but AWeber is more powerful than I remember from years ago. How does it compare to Infusionsoft?
That's a really great question.
Do you want to answer that, or wait for
the Infusionsoft guy will?
Okay.
I'm sure Don will have something to say about it too. Here's my take. I agree 100% with you that AWeber is more powerful than it has been in the past. I'd say within the last 2 years, we've made huge strides towards being more advanced in our automation capabilities. The ability to have multiple automated series within a list with tagging and segmenting and the automation capabilities is huge strides towards a more holistic marketing automation platform. The way we compare right now, the way I look at Infusionsoft is they're sort of a full automation platform, meaning they have the email capabilities like I've described with AWeber, but they also have some website automations as well. So as you can track people's activity within your website and automate campaigns and nurturing that happens there. So that's something that within AWeber we don't have yet. Within the next 2 to 3 months we will. So we're on that road. There are a couple other ways that we compare to Infusionsoft. Sure, I will agree that the features are not exactly apples to apples. But what we've heard from a lot of our customers who have come back from Infusionsoft is that there's a lot more automations than they really need. And it's also probably 3 times as more expensive to use Infusionsoft than it is AWeber. That one of the other things I hear quite often from customers is that it's really difficult to work with. It's more complex. A lot of them have to hire an individual to set up their account. This is my perspective. I'm sure Don will have another perspective as well. But these are things that we hear from our customers who have tried Infusionsoft, who have come back to us. So ease of use is a big one. The quote I had on the screen from Robert Brown, he was a customer who came back from Infusionsoft because of the simplicity. And one of the things that he told me when I talked with him on the phone several months back was that AWeber provides just enough automation to really get what you need done. So that you're barely paying for what you're using what you're paying for. So ease of use, more affordable, and really kind of doing what you really need in your business.
Okay, three quick questions. Lynn writes, do you have a different pricing plan for 501c3 nonprofits? Does your platform integrate with Salesforce, Click and Pledge, which is another product to integrate with, and any resources to recommend for subject lines?
That's a great question. So we do have a 20% discount on nonprofits. I believe it's 20%. So there is a discount that's applied to nonprofit organizations. We do integrate with Salesforce, so you're able to pass subscriber information into Salesforce. I've never heard of Click and Pledge, but I can definitely look into that. And then any resources to recommend for subject lines. We have a lot of great educational information that we provide customers on our blog and such that you can access there. So I'm happy to share that with you if you want to chat with me afterwards.
And next question, does AWeber directly offer or partner with video server playback services? Anonymous asked, the same Anonymous probably as before.
Let's see, directly offer or partner with video server playback services. Does anyone willing to own up to that one? Explain a bit more what you mean. So we don't necessarily, So I guess I'll explain it two ways. So within AWeber, you can embed YouTube videos, Vimeo videos, in the sense that you're not going to be able to play that video within an email. Most email clients like Gmail and stuff don't support that. So you can't actually play a video within an email. But what you can do is it'll basically take a screenshot or an image of that video so that when you click it, it opens it up on YouTube or wherever it's being hosted. The other way I would answer that is we do integrate with a service called Wistia. And Wistia allows you to have forms at the end or throughout your video where you can capture email addresses and you can pass those into your email, to your AWeber account. So there is an integration with that as well. I hope I answered that question correctly.
And the last question is, AWeber, so far you've been talking about email automation. Do you also do text messaging automation?
So we don't have that native in our application, but we do integrate with a product called Call Loop, which is a text to sign up basically. So there is that capability. But you are able to capture phone numbers within your sign-up forms, and you can move those into a text messaging platform or software that you use.
Great. Well, Brandon, terrific job. Thank you very much. Let's give Brandon a round of applause, please.
My name is Don Bishop, and if we had a slide, it would tell you what companies I work for, but I'll tell you anyway. We'll catch up with the slides. Basically, I own a company called Finnegan. It's a company that started 18 years ago or so now, creating websites for people. We were in this foreign land called .NET world with Microsoft websites and things like that, and we were really good at that. Somewhere along the line, decided that that was kind of a dying thing, and we were looking for a way to market ourselves a little differently. And that's when, around 2010 or so, I first discovered the whole idea of marketing automation and got very involved with that as a business owner trying to fix my business, essentially, and expand my own business. So, yeah, I'm not supposed to look up that way. Good. good idea. So for anyone that, it's really hard for me not to respond to some of the questions that were just asked, but there's an example of getting a lead via text on the screen. So if anyone wants to actually try that and text the word strategy to that phone number, you're more than welcome to do it, and you will be rewarded. I'll tell you a little bit about that later on. And actually, Brandon's explanation of Infusionsoft compared to AWeber I thought was excellent. But anyway, so, okay. So I am not an Infusionsoft employee. I'm a certified partner, which means that I've been through training. I know how to use it, and training's very helpful when you want to use Infusionsoft, because it's not the easiest thing in the world. But I'm a user. My company has sort of become an agency, a digital agency, but I like to call us a reluctant agency, and I'm really trying to get out of being an agency and into doing some other things, helping people. But really, the way I try to position what we do is I help small businesses with advice about how to use a bunch of these different technologies in their business to be more successful. Oh, and by the way, I'm happy to answer questions anywhere along the way, because I thought the questions were great the last time. So if you want to stop me and scream and then go to a microphone, and I'll be glad to answer anytime. So anybody ready to buy Infusionsoft yet? No? Not yet? Okay. Well, we'll come back to that, because that'll help us illustrate an idea here. I'm not going to talk so much about Infusionsoft and what it actually does, unless there's specific questions. But I want to talk about the whole idea of how technology can help in marketing, and the kind of marketing that I find to be really successful. Because the most important thing in terms of marketing automation to me is building a relationship, because without that, you never get to where you really need to be in terms of selling and business and developing your business. So relationship building and follow-up are really the keys to this technology from my point of view. And really, when you come down to it, follow-up is everything. And it's really one of the reasons that Infusionsoft was created in the first place, to make it easy for follow-up, easy for small business people to follow up without having a huge sales force necessarily, and all of the infrastructure that you might need to do all of that. To me, marketing in a small business is also much more than just getting leads and getting new business. I really try to focus on businesses. The paradigm that we use is typically called life cycle marketing, where we're really focusing our marketing efforts not just on the first stage, which is attracting people, which is kind of what everyone thinks of marketing as, but we really have the whole 3 steps of attract, sell, and then wow. So we've got to get their attention, get their interest, get a lead, which you can text if you want to now, just saying. We've got to attract first, we've got to sell something, develop a relationship, and then you can't stop there either. We've got to have that, the wow segment to us is actually delivering on the promise of what you're doing, and then also taking the marketing to the next step of getting reviews, endorsements, referrals, that sort of thing. And it's one of the things that I think small businesses, it's very easy to neglect, because we're always focused on that next deal, the next new person, but we're not really building our business sort of systematically like that. So that's what I do with clients. I work with people to help them figure out how to do that. I don't necessarily do it for them, but I help them figure out what tools and what strategies to use to make that happen. If you do decide to text strategy to 414-240-2404, one of the things that you'll get is, and there's a little conversation that happens there, and if you put your email address in, you're going to get 2 key pieces of, well, actually 3. You're going to get 2 documents that are, I think, really helpful. One is 25 things that every small business should automate, which is real helpful. And another newer one that kind of relates to some of the other things we're talking about here, it's called In the Pipeline, how to keep, convert, and close more leads in less time with automation. So it really is kind of a primer on how automation can fit into a small business environment. And in terms of relationship building as the most important thing, one of the things that gets lost for me in a lot of marketing automation, we had a good question over here about people not wanting to open emails, which is definitely an issue, but one that can be dealt with very effectively. I find that when people start trying to use marketing automation, they neglect one of the most important aspects of any kind of selling, and that's that people buy from other people they know, like, and trust. And so the first thing that you always have to do in building a relationship is you have to basically open up to people and educate them of who you are, what you're about, get them to know, like, and trust you. And you also, since people buy from other people they know, like, and trust, when you're doing marketing, it's real important to talk to other people, talk to your audience as a person. It's very easy to get into the trap of, I want to find out what box I can put you in so I can take you to the next level, or I want to get you to say that you love me, or say that this is going to work, or say that I want it now. But that's not going to happen. I mean, nobody bought when I first stood up here and said, do you want to buy Infusionsoft now? It's kind of like, the analogy that works in my head, which may or may not work for anyone else, but I tell a lot of my clients, when we're doing any kind of email marketing, any kind of automation, we really have to think of it more like a dating situation than anything else. And if we're going to send out an email to someone, if you text strategy to that number, we're not going to try to sell you Infusionsoft. We're going to develop a relationship. And it's kind of like, going into a bar or somewhere, meeting someone, they actually say hello back. And your first topic of conversation is, well, how many kids do you want? Yeah. It doesn't start there. And even though we've got automation that we can take them through the process, and I've got an order form ready that you can order right away, but that doesn't mean that's a good time to use it. So we have to use all of this stuff at the right time. So Infusionsoft, so that's a little bit me. Infusionsoft, actually, I had no idea AWeber's been around for 20 years, so I don't think Infusionsoft's been around that long. And I actually found it very interesting that the guy who started AWeber invented autoresponders. That's pretty interesting. Do any of you know much about Infusionsoft? It's always interesting to me. We have some interesting history to deal with. Infusionsoft has really changed over what it was years ago. Infusionsoft grew very rapidly in the marketing automation world. Started out as a CRM system, got very popular in marketing automation. to a certain extent, invented the whole automation thing, not autoresponders, but the rest of the automation thing, and did have a reputation of being expensive, confusing, and very annoying salespeople. And that all is true. When I first looked at Infusionsoft, it was a whole lot more expensive than it is now. It was much, much more difficult to use. But with all of those negatives, it still became very, very powerful with certain power users and a lot of people who really knew how to make it work. So a lot of that has changed. Now it's it can be a completely mobile-friendly environment, a whole new interface that wasn't available before. For the most part, Infusionsoft is delivered by partners like me all over the world. And that really is a response to the idea that none of this stuff is really all that easy, and most clients can benefit significantly from having help from someone who's actually done it before. And that can be an agency, or that can be, there's lots of different gurus and that sort of thing. But when Microsoft had difficulty in the past, it was because somebody sold it to someone else and said, have fun. And that's just a real tough way to get started. So it does connect with a whole lot of other things other than the platform itself. It's got a great marketplace of plugins and consultants and even whole campaigns that you can purchase. So it's very extensible, and it'll connect with lots of other different platforms and that sort of thing. So that's so kind of the core of Infusionsoft is the marketing campaign. A marketing campaign uses this visual interface to make it easy to see what's going on in a campaign. So you have lots of ways to start and end a campaign, and then all kinds of different decision points along the way. I can't even see what that one is. Did I go to? Yeah, I did. Sorry about that. So Infusionsoft is, in addition to providing all of the marketing automation, does function as a CRM system with the marketing automation built onto it. So that's really helpful, especially with a lot of small business people in a mobile environment. You can now have your entire contact list right on the phone. You can see what's going on with individual customers in campaigns as it's happening. You can enter someone right into your phone and start them in a campaign immediately. You can even scan a business card and have it typed into the CRM for you, and then tag them. So it works out great in a networking kind of environment where you can get a bunch of business cards, scan them, and very, very quickly send them follow-up. Because follow-up's the key, and you can follow up then as many times in as many different ways as you want. The marketing campaign is sort of the core of Infusionsoft. So you can build these visual campaigns yourself relatively easily. There are also campaigns that you can purchase. So if you wanted to have a new lead follow-up or a networking follow-up, you can purchase someone's campaign, and this is a marketplace you can purchase from Infusionsoft, or you can purchase from just about anyone in the ecosystem. There are also lots of free marketing campaigns that you can just download and then manipulate them yourselves and customize it. It's a great way to kind of start and see what's going on. And you can also hire partners to build any kind of custom campaign that you would want. And campaigns in this kind of automation is much more than just email. So you can build these campaigns to be, to include emails. We can send out text messages at certain points along the way. We can include voice messages that are automated. We can create a task that tells an internal person to make this phone call and talk to somebody, and that task can include a script and anything else that we'd want to remind them that, okay, you're making a call now because they inquired about this. You should call them and talk about these 3 bullet points and ask a couple of questions like this. We can even interface campaigns to automatically send out cards like thank you cards, or my personal favorite, brownies to people that did something along the way, or just about anything we want to do. So there's all kinds of interfaces like that where we can set up how we're going to build a relationship and have it happen automatically.
Don?
Yeah.
Back here. Question, can this also be set up that if somebody abandons a shopping cart, you'll get to know that somehow and follow up in some fashion? That's one question. Or second question, if they go to certain pages on your website, you can learn about that and trigger, let's say, a phone call or a follow-up email based on what pages they've clicked on your website. Is that capturable in your automation system?
Yes. I guess you'd like more.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, the abandoned cart. Yes, there's a follow-up sequence that will gather that information, and we can follow up any way we want. There's a couple of different ways to do that. So natively, there's a basic function there using the Infusionsoft cart. There's a whole heck of a lot of functions that that we can interface with another program. For instance, I spend a lot of time helping one client that has a Shopify account. We've got their Shopify e-commerce store where they have, I don't know, a whole lot of products integrated with Infusionsoft. I'm married to an Italian, so I have to talk with my hands. It's all integrated, and then we know every product that they, that way back and forth. So that's not necessarily native to Infusionsoft, but it's really worth it when you have a site that's actually making money like that. And the page. So the second question was triggering an event based on a page view, which I have to confess, Infusionsoft does that. They added it within the last year. I've never used it personally, but I do follow a lot of other partners that talk about these things, and that's something that people seem to really like and are using effectively. Did that answer those questions? You have another one, or that was a success? Okay. This might be one of those situations where you need to edit this out of the video, but so Infusionsoft does have e-commerce built into it. There are a lot of situations where you really don't want to use the e-commerce that's built into Infusionsoft. The e-commerce that's built into Infusionsoft is incredibly powerful at a couple of things. It does have a basic little store. And so if you're selling a couple of products and it's kind of an add-on, it'll work fine. If you're seriously into e-commerce, you probably want to link to something else. And I've linked to Shopify, I've linked to WooCommerce, it links to BigCommerce really effectively. So there's lots of possibilities there. The thing that Infusionsoft e-commerce is really good at are two things, really. One, it's very good at an order form kind of a situation. So if you've got something that you're going to offer, I'm going to offer a training seminar for $250, or I'm going to offer, a coaching session for $500 or whatever it is. It's really good at making those kinds of offers and then running the whole thing through a credit card and doing the whole ball of wax. The other thing that Infusionsoft is really good at is managing any kind of subscription. So if you've got a membership site where you have a paid subscription, it's really good at that. I use it for like website hosting, really good at that. Really good at any kind of a retainer. So if you are in in a digital agency kind of a business and it's a $5,000 a month retainer or something like that, Infusionsoft will handle that really well. So it has significant e-commerce capabilities, but not universal to do everything. One of the other real strengths of Infusionsoft is the sales automation system. So this is for not the smallest companies, but any kind of a situation where you've got a regular sales process and typically more than one person interacting, more than one salesperson. It's real easy to keep track of your pipeline of how many people are in each stage along the way. So in this example, it starts out with an appointment at the beginning, then you qualify them, we decide they're going to get an estimate, and you can just drag and drop these people from one place to another, and it'll do things like add up how much dollars you have in different parts of the sales automation system. And then anything that we do in here manually, the salesman does, we can build automation off of that. So if we decide that, as soon as someone sets an appointment in that first column there, we want them to get an email that says, we're really glad that we're going to get to talk to you. Here's some of the things that we intend to talk about, and you might want to think about this, and this. Or if you've got a much more tight process, there might even be a questionnaire that you're going to send that you don't actually even have the appointment unless they fill out the questionnaire. So there's all kinds of automation that we can build into this process. And then after they do the appointment, you can do my favorite, which is send them brownies to thank them for coming to the appointment. But all of those things allow us to decide what our process is going to be and automate it along the way. Mobile's a big thing in our world now. So Infusionsoft does have an app which accesses the program, but also has a version now which is 100% mobile responsive, so that you can kind of do just about everything you need to do right on a phone. Probably don't want to be building campaigns on a phone, because that gets a little bit wacky with the whole graphical interface, but everything else you can do. So if you're on the phone with somebody and want to make notes, you can put them in there. You can actually tag somebody if they say, hey, I'm ready to move on, and you want to tag the next step emails go to them or whatever, you can do that. And this is just to remind me that all of the different campaigns that are in there that you kind of get to start with. So you're not just starting with a blank slate. We start out, we've got a bunch of campaigns in the capture lead category. We've got campaign to get referrals, campaigns to do all kinds of things. And all of those you can bring in and then edit. So you're not just stuck with someone else's canned campaign. The other thing that's kind of new in Infusionsoft, well, Infusionsoft always had the ability to create landing pages up until about 8 months ago, they were horrible and ugly. So now there's a whole new system that lets us create really nice landing pages.
Do you want that removed from the video also?
No, keep that. They know that. Long story, but they're really good ones. So, like, I personally used lead pages for many years. A lot of people use a lot of different things to create landing page builders or create landing pages, but there's a really nice system built into there now. Yeah, and so the other thing really is Infusionsoft does integrate with a whole lot of things. I forget what the specific question about AWeber was in terms of integration. Salesforce, yeah, no clue. No, actually, so there is a third. So you can do things like Zapier. That does a pretty deep integration and will send things back and forth. I don't know of too many people that are doing a Salesforce integration. I do know a lot of people that have spent a lot of time doing Pipedrive integrations. A lot of people with actual sales teams seem to really like Pipedrive. But Zapier, there's a couple of different programs like that now that basically exist to just connect one cloud program to another cloud program. Zapier's big, really works here. There's another one called Automate.io, which adds a lot of stuff. There's a real high-end package called Workato that does a really good job of integrating Infusionsoft with just about anything. You see Xero and QuickBooks on here. There's integrations with there too, so that if you are using the e-commerce or paying bills in there, you can get that information back and forth pretty painlessly. Not totally painlessly, but pretty painlessly. Anyway, so start thinking of your questions, because this is just this people that are really happy customers. There's tons of happy customers, and this thing is, Infusionsoft has been very successful for a whole lot of people. And Don pointed out to me when I sent him my slides that we say we're rated 4 stars and then we show 5 stars. And frankly, I don't know which it is, but I don't really care.
Those guys really liked you.
But anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, we have about 5 minutes for questions. Anybody have any questions from the audience? If you do, please come to the microphone. If you don't, I'll check Slido. Are you leaving, Don, or? Okay, let's see here. We do have some questions. Okay, so Dave.
We got
go ahead. What's your? Wait, hold on, please. Go ahead now.
I didn't see integration with the social media as your list of integrations there.
So what kind of integration with social media? Just so. No, don't do any of that. It's not a social media pack. No, there's some buttons in there, but they're useless. So, I don't know. Everybody puts a Twitter button everywhere, and it's like, what's the point of that?
Okay.
So there are So one of the things that I do regularly, though, is we do Facebook lead ads that through a couple of different programs, Zapier and a couple of other third-party programs, it's very easy to get all of those leads automatically into Infusionsoft. There's also some really cool functionality to take that to the next level, where we can integrate your Infusionsoft contacts to automatically create Facebook audiences. so that if you get a lead into Facebook, you've got their contact information. I've got this Facebook custom audience over here where I'm buying ads that go to all these people. As soon as that new lead comes in, I can automatically push them into that group, and they will start getting my Facebook ads. And you can remove them from those groups too, if you need to. So that's my goal. So,
Dave, just a couple questions here on Slido. So someone named Dave, anybody want to identify yourself? Okay, that Dave says, seems your platform would play well with a business who has a vibrant event schedule. Is that your niche?
event schedule.
Was the answer yes?
I'm not sure exactly what the question is. So
Talked about your mobile product.
Yeah.
It's easy to scan business cards in.
Right.
Somebody's at an event and they get a lot of cards in. It's a great way to just integrate it right away, whether it's a big event or a small event. Is that something you feel is a niche for you guys?
It's a real nice add-on thing. Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to do that. It's a niche to some extent, but really the whole totality of automation, there's just a whole bunch of different. Yeah, there's a whole lot of people. I think there's probably just as many people doing things like webinars and automating webinars, so that if somebody comes to a landing page, we sign them up for the webinar, which automatically integrates to GoToWebinar, creates, gets them signed up there, and then creates a sequence of emails or text to remind them that they're coming to an event on such and such a date. And it's relatively easy to put together campaigns like that on an ongoing basis, so that you don't have to do all that reminding to get people to come to events. Whether it's a live event or an online event. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people doing events. The business card thing's kind of a part of that.
Okay, let's see. Anonymous asks, do you offer a small monthly subscription recurring price for small business automation?
Define small. So
under 20 million.
I'm going to go slow here because Infusionsoft pricing has changed a bit lately. But the basic pricing structure is that there's a $99 a month starting price, which gets you that marketing automation and 500 contacts. And that gets you all of the automation that's built into Infusionsoft. From there, it's the pricing structure kind of has two different elements. One, it's based on how big your list is, and that's on the website. There's a whole pricing structure. That you do not get the e-commerce. The e-commerce is an add-on, and the sales automation is an add-on because not everybody needs those. But they're each an extra $40 a month or something like that.
Okay, and the final question, which you may have already just covered, what are the pricing plans to help small businesses get started with your company? I think you just discussed that, didn't you?
Yeah, so two different things. So that's Infusionsoft. With my company, we basically start out with a free strategy consultation with me over the phone, because I really need to understand. I like to understand people's businesses, so I know we're giving them the right thing. We have some programs for us that start, I think, at $397 a month, which includes a little bit of like a sort of a monthly strategy session to keep people going in the right direction. And then that goes up to a lot more than that.
Any other questions from the audience? Okay, well, let's give Don a great round of applause. Thank you very much. we are very pleased to have with us our next presenter, Mr. Greg Kaywood. Greg is one of the co-founders of iConnection, a local marketing agency, and he will be telling us tonight about marketing automation and HubSpot. So, Greg, take it away. Go ahead.
I already warned Don. I'm a pacer, so you're going to see me go back and forth. Eventually, I'll settle in, but at first, I like to walk around a little bit. I think it's really cool that we had a really cool wedding this weekend. Did anybody get a chance to watch it? Yeah, quick show of hands. Anybody watch the wedding that went on? For me, it was really special. I'm actually South African. I was born in South Africa, but I lived in England for 10 years. I was there when Princess Diana got married to Charles. Really special moment in my life, and this wedding was just exceptional, especially because now I live in Philadelphia, so I could watch Carson Wentz marry Meghan Markle. That was really cool. Again, my name's Greg Kaywood. I'm from iConnection Internet. We are a local, by local I mean Doylestown-based marketing agency, digital marketing agency. That's us, that's our building. We're located on Ferry Road. We have 15 employees, 18 years of service. Seems like a lot of us have been in business for coming up on 20 years. We service about 50 clients, 50, and we are HubSpot Platinum Partners. Has anybody heard of HubSpot prior to this evening? A handful, okay, good. HubSpot is a marketing automation platform. That's why we're talking tonight. They are the largest marketing automation platform. They're also kind of the gold standard, best-in-class marketing automation platform. I'll dig into that in a little bit. We are really proud to be platinum partners. There's only 2 platinum partners in all of Pennsylvania. There's 1 diamond partner and 2 platinum partners. So of the just under 4,000 partners in the world, we sit at the very top, and we really know their platform inside and out. I'm going to talk about today's marketing landscape, why marketing automation exists in the first place, what is HubSpot, of course, and with Don's permission at the end, I'm actually running back to his keyboard, and I'm going to actually demo the software, because we didn't get to see any live demonstration, so I wanted to actually show you the back end of some of these tools, if we have time. Dharmesh Shah, co-founder of HubSpot, says, just because you can't manufacture luck does not mean that you cannot influence the odds. Just because you cannot manufacture luck does not mean you cannot influence the odds. So Dharmesh had a conversation with Elon Musk. We all know who Elon Musk is, co-founder of PayPal, founder of SpaceX, Tesla, SolarCity, Hyperloop, Neuralink, the Boring Company, possibly the best named company on our planet. He said, how do you do such big things? How is it that you found companies and these companies do amazing things? You don't found normal companies. SpaceX put men not on the moon, but on Mars. Tesla, battery-powered cars. Not in 2018, he found it in 2003. SolarCity, taking shingles as solar panels, putting them on people's roofs. Neuralink, transferring your brain, your consciousness into computers. And the Boring Company, as I said, the best named company in the world, boring tunnels underground in cities to connect them through Hyperloop transportation. How do you do such big things? How do you accomplish it? Elon is a physicist and a mathematician. His answer brings from that. He answered, let's say that you're trying to get your company from point A to point B. Every person in your company, every person on the team is a vector. And your progress as a company is determined by the sum of vectors. Okay, everybody got it? Ready to change your companies? I hate it when you read something from somebody smart and you don't know what it means. That's me. I don't get it. So what is a vector? Have to look it up. A vector is something with both magnitude and direction. For example, an automobile. If you see a car traveling at you at 100 miles an hour, you need to take notice. If it's traveling away from you at 100 miles an hour, doesn't bother you one bit. So a vector is something with both magnitude and direction. So Elon says, every person on the team is a vector. And your progress as a company is determined by the sum of those vectors. So employees are vectors. So we all understand that you can rate employees on a scale. We'll call it the impact scale, the ability for them to change your organization. Good employees, and a lot of you work for companies with HR departments, will only have good employees. And they'll have a high impact ratio, maybe a 9 out of 10. And if you have a really good HR company or HR department, you're good at hiring, you're good at getting the right people on the bus, you can have a whole team of good employees. All 9s. So employees have an impact, but he says they also have a direction. So what does that mean? In a team, when you bring things together that are vectors, the direction that things move in will impact their overall totals. So you can actually have a team of really good, high-quality employees pulling at different directions, and you get a net zero effect. We've seen it. It's a tug of war. Most companies don't have that set up. Most companies have a few very good people traveling in the right direction, and some tangential people kind of in most of the right direction. And then you always have that one guy that's just doing his own thing. But if you know math and you know vectors, the sum of this equation is 15 out of 40. The impact that these 4 people can have on your organization is less than a well-aligned 2-person team. Everybody get that? Vectors align. When you get vectors alignment, you get your maximum output. In this case, with all employees aligned in the right direction, you get an output of 36/40. I bring this up as an introduction to marketing automation because vectors exist throughout your entire organization. As business owners, as marketers, you have to look for your vectors and you have to align them. Marketing is a huge vector that requires alignment. And what do I mean? I mean that there are digital marketing tactics that you all use day in and day out as part of your organization. In a marketing agency for 18 years, I've had countless people come in to my door and say, I want a website. I want a website. You sell websites, make me a website. Why? Why do you want a website? It's a great question. If you're a marketer, ask it. Why do you want a website? Well, my current website's old. My competitors have a better website. Are those good reasons? No. Those are good reasons if you're a small business and thinking small, but if you actually want to accomplish something, you need to have answers to that. So in marketing, strategy is the direction. It's the most important vector. And because my company is a HubSpot company and we adopted the inbound methodology, have you guys heard of inbound marketing before or the inbound methodology? Anybody? Couple. Good. Real quickly, inbound marketing, again, HubSpot created the term. They actually are an inbound marketing company. If you Google inbound marketing, HubSpot comes up. They said essentially that, and we heard it from Infusionsoft as well, that a buyer's process doesn't start at the endpoint, but a buying process starts at an awareness phase, at the very beginning when they become aware of your company. And then those buyers move through a journey, HubSpot calls it the buyer's journey, until they reach the ultimate delight phase of the company. So there's 4 phases: awareness, consideration, decision, and delight. See a couple pens moving, so I'll go again. Awareness, consideration, decision, and delight. Each of those phases become really important when we think about how we market and how we target our services towards our prospects. Because two things change as a buyer moves through that process. The content that they're interested in totally changes as they're learning about your company compared to, are they considering buying your services, or are they deciding to buy your services, or have they bought your services and now you need to delight them? Their questions change. As a marketer, our solutions have to change to answer those questions. Because in an awareness phase, we're going to use different strategies. These digital marketing tactics, we're going to use different strategies to speak to them in an awareness phase. Things like search engine optimization become wonderful tools to reach a new prospect. Blogging is a wonderful tool to reach a new prospect. Is email a good tool to reach a brand new person that doesn't know about you? AWeber, would you do that? No. That's called spam. Email's a fantastic tool to have a conversation with somebody that knows you. So they're in a consideration phase. So HubSpot put that kind of knowledge together and built a framework or an application that marketers can now use to do all of these services. I'm pointing at that screen, sorry. To do all of those services under one roof. Now, a little bit about HubSpot. They are in my opinion, best-in-class application. It comes at a decent price point. I'll get to that in a minute. But when they do something, they try to do it better than anybody. So if they have a tool in their toolkit, they're going to try to be the best. And when they're not the best, they're either going to double down and be the best, or they're going to remove it from their toolkit. Example, they actually pulled their SEO reporting tool recently because they felt that other companies did it better. And then, in that case, they use Zapier and just zap out to them, and now marketers can use the other tool to get that data. But where they do something, they do it in an unparalleled way. They put all of these different tactics under one roof, and then they, with a really fantastic training program, provide a strategy for how to implement all of these tools. I'll get on the phone with everybody who's their customer and talk about the strategies to use. Or they'll connect you with a partner agency. So that was the inbound 30-second flyover. Marketing automation is really important because all of these things up here are different organizations that provide marketing or technology services. This was from 2014, and you've got, sorry, it's really hard to see, but you've got email marketing programs, you've got website builders, you've got blog builders, you've got CRM applications. There's so many different tools. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of tools. And Don was telling me as he walked in, he noticed that this slide came from 2014. He thought, I wonder if they've updated it. We didn't include it because it's so densely packed that it's just a blur on the screen. There is just an overload of different applications and different ways to use technology today that you kind of have too much information or too much ability. And the real issue is they're all individual applications that don't talk to each other. So you get these silos that occur within an organization. So HubSpot, who actually appears on here, tries to take a whole bunch of these tools and get them to talk and put them under one roof. So I realize that this is a WordPress group, but HubSpot is a WordPress replacement if you choose to use it that way. Or they have some really nice tools to make WordPress and HubSpot talk to each other. I realize we're here with AWeber as well. HubSpot is an AWeber replacement, or it's got some really nice tools to use AWeber's interface. And there's some really compelling reasons to actually use AWeber's tools. But as a marketer, in my company, before we used HubSpot, we were literally drowning in tools. For every marketing project that we took on, we had about 12 different routine, everyday use tools that we would use for our clients. Now, It's about 3. Google Analytics, HubSpot, and we use SEMrush for our search engine optimization. So what is HubSpot? To understand what HubSpot is, you need to understand where they fit in the marketplace. On the left is that do-it-yourself technology growth stack represented by the big slide that I had before, literally hundreds of different applications. On the far right is big business ERP platforms that run large companies where everything is literally put into one large ERP system.
Stay near the table because you're stepping out of the light.
Thank you.
And we want to see your beautiful face.
I actually like to give cameraman a run for their money. Keep you. Okay. So, as I was saying, big businesses have the money and the resources to build ERP applications. HubSpot really fits nicely in the middle of that picture. So if you're not a small business, if you're not doing it yourself and you're gluing it together with your sheer willpower using WordPress, Google Analytics, AWeber email marketing, blogging software, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. I mean, it gets overwhelming, but when you start, you kind of have to do that. They sit in the middle. They're for the mid-size to enterprise-size customer base. So they fill a need in the middle. HubSpot is actually 4 sets of tools put under one roof. And what makes that really cool is each set in a normal enterprise would be siloed and wouldn't be able to talk to each other. So for instance, sorry, I'm walking again. For instance is if you were to send an email to your prospects, your prospect list may exist in a different database called a CRM, Customer Relationship Management Database. But if you were to send an email to them, and they would click it, and they would use some cool automation and segmentation to personalize it, they would visit your website probably to get content. That's a use case that's really popular. You send an email, it goes to somebody, you want them to go to your website. If they go to your website, you want to know what pages they visited. If they bought something, you want to know what they bought. If they download an ebook, you want to know what ebook they bought. All of those things, without a marketing automation platform, become very challenging to knit together in one simple to understand thread. In HubSpot, I can see that Greg Kaywood visited a website. So if you visit my website, I know who you are. I get a picture of you, get it zapped out to your LinkedIn profile. It comes down, HubSpot pulls that in automatically. If you download an ebook, it tells me, Peter downloaded an ebook, tells me what company you work for, tells me what revenue your company has. And then I can segment from there. As a marketer, segmentation is awesome. Brandon talked about it earlier. We love to know that Peter has a certain interest in a certain thing, and then we can follow up with him in a very personalized and segmented way. So HubSpot is 4 different tools. It's marketing tools like blogs, kind of a WordPress replacement. It is email tools, social media tools. It's also sales tools. So if you're a company with a sales force that uses a CRM system, it completely replaces that. It is a CRM. It also integrates really nicely with a bunch of other CRM systems like Salesforce. If one of your prospects visits your website, HubSpot will let you know that your prospect is hanging out on your website. Maybe it's a good time to call. HubSpot is also a CRM system, customer relationship management system, where you put every prospect that you have into a database and you can track their history, know what companies they work for, and so forth. Really fantastic tool. And then finally, HubSpot is also a service side or service module. And in that, it's probably some of the coolest stuff they're doing. HubSpot has invested extremely heavily in artificial intelligence and the ability to do marketing automation with no human interaction. And it sounds super freaky, and it actually is, but they're building and let us use bots all the time to have marketing conversations on behalf of our clients. So we train bots about our customers' products and services, and then they do the marketing for us in some really powerful ways. We also are able to really smartly change websites depending upon who comes to the site. So if I know a little bit about somebody, maybe I put them into a manufacturing audience based upon their CRM activity. HubSpot will let me change anything on the site that I want to make it more personalized to somebody who's come there. We've all seen that when we shop at Amazon, different products show up depending upon what we bought in the past. Think about that same technology now leveraged for you on your own websites for your prospects, except now it's a different homepage image, it's different homepage content, it's different forms. Because if you know who's on your site, which HubSpot does, then you can tailor the message to your prospect. Really, really powerful. So normally these 4 applications exist in silos and they don't talk to each other. But it's really magical, like really, really magical, when you can get all of the information to transfer from one silo to the next, when you can have a marketing promotion get tracked all the way through the entire life cycle, from I sent something out on Facebook, somebody clicked on my ad, 2 weeks went by, they went to my website, 2 months went by, my sales team contacted them, my sales team set up a deal in the back end of my team, I assigned them a revenue $50,000 potential, my sales team automated the email workflows to talk to them, my sales team finally closed the deal, HubSpot knows my Facebook ad from 4 months ago generated $50,000 of revenue, lets the owners of the company know that, shows its value. Really incredible tool, highly recommend it. Now, I started by saying it's not for everybody, and I do want to kind of dig through some of those questions about who's the right company and who's the right fit for HubSpot. HubSpot is a kind of middle to enterprise level application. They have 4 tiers of pricing. First tier they call freemium. It's to get people to try it. They give a lot of good value in the freemium level of their subscriptions. In fact, the whole CRM system, a lot of the marketing tools are free, like surprisingly good tools that are completely free. Their basic level, which doesn't cost much, maybe $200 a month, complete garbage. Their good tool, the one that every one of my clients uses, costs about $1,000 a month, just in software. And their enterprise tool runs $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So they position themselves mid to bottom of the pricing spectrum for marketing automation platforms in the level that they compete with. Companies like Marketo and Pardot, who's a Salesforce company, all cost about double what HubSpot costs. So they're mid to bottom of the A-player marketing automation platforms. Typically, companies that do well with HubSpot and choose to use it are companies that have revenues somewhere at the low end of 3 to 5 million a year. The best companies start around 10 million and go up and have A, existing marketing teams, and B, existing sales teams. Those 2 are almost requirements for us to engage with a company. Typical retainers for us, I'll throw it out there, they start at the low end of $5,000 a month and work all the way up to 15 to 20. We routinely hit clients who have marketing budgets in the several $100,000s for digital. But I'm not telling you this because it's like an ego thing, but it's helpful to know what applications fit at different life cycles. So I realize HubSpot's not for everybody, but I really do encourage the use of their freemium for virtually every business because their freemium products are phenomenal. And then just skip the basic level and go right to pro when you can afford it. Okay? Don, do we have time for me to log into the back end of HubSpot, or are we running low?
Yes, we do. We have time. So Greg's going to come back here so he can use the laptop and log into HubSpot, and everybody can watch it on the screen, and Greg can speak into the mic. You have to sit down. You can't walk around, okay? Yes, but come to the microphone, please.
I tried to enter it into the computer program, but I had too many digits. It wouldn't let me ask my quick question. Anyway, when you were first describing what HubSpot does, you were saying in the email campaign, you'd send an email to a person, they'd open up the email, and they would click to go to the website. And what you said was they capture a picture, go to the LinkedIn page. Do they turn on the camera and capture a picture of the person? Did I miss something?
Good question. When I said they capture a picture, I should have said that they go out online and associate your browsing history and your cookies or your email address with information that you've posted about yourself. And maybe I'll make that the first screen I show you. Give me 1 second while I type. Ooh. All right, there's about 4 screens that I would like to show you. I'll just type that. Okay, so I'm just going to log into my company's HubSpot account. We actively use the HubSpot software. The very first page that you get is a marketing performance page. And what you see here is this month to date of HubSpot sessions. Just to give you a heads up, we're a low volume business. We actually don't pursue a lot of high volume traffic. The kind of companies that we do work for are very niched. From that, we're able to see the sessions, and HubSpot is very goal-based, so we can look at not only the sessions this month, but all of the previous months, and we set ourselves goals compared to last month and last quarter. The next column over here is contacts generated from those sessions with a conversion rate, and then customers in this month to date. And this is a dashboard, so highly customizable. You can kind of put anything you want on here, like blog views, website views. I'm going to speed through it. Social interactions, clicks per channel, landing page views, top blog posts, top landing pages. Lots of really good marketing information. But let me jump right to that question, and let's take a look at who's visited my website recently. So everybody that comes to my website, it's not loading. Where's the refresh? I'll just do F5. Not sure why a couple of these are blank, but the visitors that come to my website, there you can see, Mark has a photo. Let's visit who Mark is. Mark is in this room. That face looks really familiar.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You filled out a form. There you go. So within HubSpot, we get to see everything that Mark has done on our website, starting at the very bottom of his life cycle, which was 6:38 today. Do you mind if I do this?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool. So HubSpot is now tracking Mark as a human being within the CRM system. He filled out a form. He was generated from organic search using encrypted SSL keywords. We know a little bit about Mark, and he has been subscribed automatically using marketing automation to a lot of different conversations. HubSpot is a marketing and sales tool. It's hard to read, but you can see that the tool has automatically subscribed Mark to becoming a lead. And we'll change the status of Mark based upon lead scoring and his interactions with our website. So Mark, if you visit our website routinely for the next few days, you will get a contact from my sales team, because HubSpot will actually notify our sales team to have a conversation with you. You'll also see in this that HubSpot's going to begin to do the automation part of marketing automation, which he's based upon the information that it has found out from what Mark has put into the forms and what it's gleaned from LinkedIn and other online presences. It's automatically subscribing him to a variety of different conversation types or alert systems within my company. So we've got invalid data lists. We've got Mark's not part of any lists. He's been subscribed to a blog and so forth. He's also been subscribed to a lead nurturing campaign, which I believe he received and got a thank you note for. What's really powerful about this system is that now and for eternity, if Mark visits my website again, the system will continue to log all of this information and make more decisions about what sort of conversation it will have automatically with Mark on my company's behalf. No humans involved in this, but Mark can have really interesting conversations with this platform through automated channels and through automated workflows. What do those workflows look like? We jump into the workflow screen and you'll see something similar to sort of the AWeber conversation screen that we looked at earlier, where we get to have, actually, let me pick a different one. The one that you were subscribed to. So very simple marketing automation of he was enrolled because he filled out a certain kind of form on our site. Our system is going to delay the next action for 1 day. He will then get lead nurturing campaign in process sales email number 1, which I'll show you what that will look like. And all of these tools are built right within HubSpot, and all of the analytics are built right within HubSpot. So we can actually see and edit the email that he's going to get right here. We're going to give him offers and a link to a webinar, and then it's going to track his interactions and let our sales team know how it's going. Lots of different opportunities here for a marketer to customize with if-then statements and delay statements and do some really fancy automation to continue to have a conversation with him. The ultimate goal being to get Mark to the point where he knows enough about our company services and products that he's going to want to have a real in-life conversation with our sales team. Our sales team has their own entire marketing board here where they can log in and post notes about Mark and handle their own automation conversations with him. But let me jump into some of the cool marketing tools because I know most of you guys are marketers. So we can do web development in this platform, where we can create files, we can design web pages. Actually, HubSpot, as I said before, could be a complete replacement for WordPress. Same thing with emails, wrong thing, blog pages, emails, calls to action, ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, all happen through this tool. You don't have to log out of HubSpot to run a Facebook campaign. You just do it right through these tools. Social media, as I just said, was here. You get to have kind of that big overview look as to what is actually going to go out over the next few days. This is my company's posts that are going out over the next few days. We can look at what does it look like from an analytics standpoint. Again, all within one roof. There is tons of reporting. It's like a marketer's dream about how all of the different activities that we're doing affect our marketing results, and lots of productivity tools around scheduling campaigns, creating campaigns, calendars and workflows and so forth. So I clicked on calendar. This is going to be all of our social interactions and email interactions that go out over the next 30 days. Fantastic platform, and I'm going to open it up to anybody who's got some questions.
Okay, that's pretty impressive to say the least. Any questions for Greg? If not, I'll go to Slido and see what surprise questions we have there. Stand by.
Ready, just so you know.
I have a quick question for you. Under your premium model, what do you think the most valuable tool is for new customers?
Do you think you can open up the PowerPoint one more time? So
For you?
yeah, my PowerPoint.
Oh.
So I have a slide in there about what activity generates the most return on investment. So when people buy my company service or they buy HubSpot, they're not buying tactics anymore. And actually all the time I tell people you can get a website or social media campaigns from hundreds, literally hundreds of people in this town. What you're buying is the results. So you're buying a strategy knit together with those services. However, the services become really important. But if you're starting kind of from a blank slate marketing standpoint, so most of our customers aren't, most of them have pretty robust marketing campaigns already, and we take them to the next level. But if you're starting from the ground floor thinking, if I could only invest in one thing, where is the best return on my investment? And HubSpot puts out every single year they call it like the state of inbound. Like, how's inbound doing? What's the best? And in this, they said SEO has the best lead to customer ratio of all marketing channels. And then in other slides that I don't have here tonight, they talk about traditional marketing slides. They talk about email and so forth. SEO, and I'll be honest, I see it within my own organization. Search engine optimization is a primary driver. It's an interesting fact that people who come from organic search are more likely to buy than any other channel. Whereas you get more visits from social media channels than any other channel, but they're the least likely audience to buy. And it's really cool to have a tool like HubSpot that connects visits to dollars, because you can actually see what's my investment going to net me. Direct traffic is the audience members who already know your company, so they actually make up the group of referrals and existing customers. In this case, they broke out referrals. Paid search it's kind of the same as SEO, except it's the same audience as SEO, except you're now paying for it. It also has a really good return rate. When you get to social media channels, you start getting really low return on investment, 4%. Outbound marketing like phone calls or postcards, you get really, really low return on investment.
So this data is 6 years old, according to this sheet here. Do you think it's changed in the last 6 years?
I'm sure it's changed. I don't have the updated data to show you, and actually I'm sorry that I included an old slide. I would say SEO has become even more dominant, and social media has become even less dominant.
I would have guessed that referrals would have been much higher, but we'll leave that for another time. Did you want to stay on this page, or can I go to your Slido questions?
Yeah, keep going to the questions.
Okay, so Slido says, okay, so Rhonda, where are you, Rhonda? You still here? Okay, so Rhonda asks, do you know of a local HubSpot user group? I've been to the Philly group. If there isn't a local HubSpot user group, we can integrate it into the consortium. So, but I don't know. Is there a local HubSpot user group?
There's one in Westchester. The only one I'm really familiar with is the Philly Hug.
Okay. Rhonda, let's talk about making it part of the consortium. If you'd like to, we can talk about that. Okay. That's the only question we have on Slido. Any other questions for Greg? Well, in that case, let's give Greg a great round of applause. Thank you.